Our politically incorrect segment tonight. This man won Twitter yesterday under the premise that if the mainstream media wants to fix the fake news problem, they should start with their own networks. After President Trump called CNN fake news, CNN's Chris Cillizza challenged Twitter to name a story that was fake. Enter former digital director on Mitt Romney's presidential campaign, Justin Hart, who's with me now. Justin, thanks for being here.
Liz, thanks for having me.
All right, tell me what happened. Your Twitter was on fire yesterday. This was so entertaining. How did this start?
Well, it was lots of fun. You know, fake news kind of entered our nomenclature after the election last year. And initially it referred to the droves of fake news and social media posts coming from Russia in collusion with the Trump campaign that somehow influenced and turned the votes of hundreds of thousands of people. Quickly, voters realized that that was the real fake news. And the verified credential press corps that we've come to know, love, and enjoy over the years has been the real propagator of fake news. So I started cataloging this soon after the election. Through the first quarter of this year, I had logged 44. I just allocated another 15 to 20. So we're well past 60 fake news stories from credentialed press people that have turned out to be completely false or completely misaligned or misconstrued in a way to fit their agenda.
Right, to purport their agenda. And not only are they fake and false, some of them are just downright absurd. They're quite funny. Justin, tell me what some of these are. Let's go through them. What's the best one?
Oh, well, you know, one of the best ones is from Zeke Miller, who's a prominent writer for Time magazine. I believe he's still there. They just had to fire 300 people this week because of a lack of subscribers. But on the day of the inauguration, he tweeted out that that President Trump had removed the bust of Martin Luther King Jr. from the Oval Office. It was taken up by the news media left and right, retweeted thousands of times. It turns out for the picture he was looking at, a Secret Service agent was just blocking his view.
Right, which is actually the absurd part because he didn't even move 1 foot to the left or right to confirm his story, much less find an actual confirmation of this. Ridiculous, and hopefully they corrected that. This is one that was particularly egregious to me, I guess. This was, again, right after the inauguration of President Trump. Liberals were saying, oh my goodness, he erased, the LGBT page from his website. He took away the climate change agenda. We really are in for it now. Was that fake news?
Absolutely. You know, sometimes the press, they see what they want to see, and sometimes they just jump the gun and assume the worst. So in this case, in the transition of an administration, you typically have a website that is archived, in this case, the Obama administration website for whitehouse.gov. And being an internet strategist myself, I know how this works. They have to bring writers in, you create content. If you go back to the website, there are content pages about LGBT and climate change up there from the viewpoint of a newly elected administration, but it wasn't the case that they were purposely brought down. CBS just assumed the worst in their own mind's eye.
Right, which is not reporting facts, it's reporting your own fear and your own feelings. All right, the travel ban too, and this is using fear-mongering. This is something that they do a lot with fake news, and this is about Trump's temporary immigration ban and who it actually targeted. The news claimed, this was dozens of people reported this, that it impacted a certain American-born Olympian.
That's correct. You know, he was claiming that he was detained, but it turns out that detention was actually back in December when President Obama was still president. We had several other claims. In fact, we had claims that a grandmother died because she couldn't get to the U.S. to get the surgery she needed. The imam of that supposed person who was banned claimed this person is a liar, don't believe them, and the news quickly had to correct it. And we see this again and again. There's, one of the icons of fake news. This isn't anything new. Happened back in 2011, and it has a tie to the terrible tragedy we saw today in D.C. with the shooting of the GOP baseball practice. You recall in 2011, Representative Gabby Giffords was tragically shot with others in Arizona. Within hours, Politico, others, New York Times would lay it at the feet of Sarah Palin because of some supposed flyer she had out there. There is to this day no evidence that the shooter ever saw that flyer, but they were so quick to do that. Today, those same voices are rather silent in the face of very, very different circumstances.
Right. Plus, even if their premise were true about the Sarah Palin thing, just for the record here, if something as innocuous as a graphic online could spark an assassination, then or an attempted assassination, we are in a lot more danger than they have been talking about. The last one here, and this is, of course, the accusations that the media, in coordination with the Democrats, hurl at Republicans of all of us, we're always racist, we're always sexist. racist. They claim that Trump's father, Donald Trump's father, ran for mayor in New York City, and that while he did that, he ran two just horrendously racist campaign advertisements. Is that fake news?
I love parody videos. It's something I've made my name. I've actually been sued by a few people for parody videos that I put up on them. And it's been a fun time to do that in politics. Someone did the same thing for Donald Trump's father and made two fake 1970 parody ads. Well, of course, one of the prominent people on the left gave it all the airtime he could to basically say that Donald Trump's father ran for mayor of New York City and that he promoted it with two very, very racist ads. They were in bad taste, the ads. They were parody ones, and he fell for it.
Right, and the funny thing is, Donald Trump's father never even ran for mayor. It was
Correct.
double fake news. It was the worst of the worst fake news. Justin, thanks so much for coming on the show. I look forward to reading your Twitter. Keep up the good work.
Liz, have us back anytime. Good to be with you.
All right.